If you do that, then we have to kill you.
But I feel like if I don't do that, it already feels like you're all against me anyway.
If you even touch a relic, if you even sniff a relic, I'm coming for you.
Oh.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Blight and Banter. I'm here. I'm Mighty Mango, and I'm here with my co-hosts. Toss it over to Richie.
Hello.
And we're also here with Bubbles.
Hello, everyone.
Great. We're gathered to talk to you today about ARCs. We play games on Monday nights. We play ARCs, the base game. We stream that live Mondays about 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please feel free to stop by and chat and check us out. And then we do these recap episodes, which are a little tighter, focus on strategy and some other things, and have a good time.
So we go through all our mistakes.
And we go through all our mistakes and our accomplishments and successes. Yeah, and I think Dan said this last time, but it's a little bit of therapy, to get to process what happened, the stresses we're having, and hopefully become better players and better people. All right, so Richie, what else do we do on the show? What's up first?
First off, we're going to talk about the draft, and we're kind of trying a little bit of a different format where we've assigned each of us to talk about the draft, and each one of us gets a chapter. And so we're going to start off with the draft and break that down, and then we're going to go into chapter 1. So let me share screen here. And we have the draft pulled up, and I'll toss it over to Bubs to break us down the draft, and just let me know what card you want me to highlight, and I'll bring that up.
Okay. Well, yeah, just in case you haven't joined us before, what you're seeing here is some cubes, and that's what we ended up drafting. The bigger cube is the first choice that player took, and then the smaller cube is their second choice. And in this game, yellow had the first pick, so that you can see they went for the rebel. And then next, Mango, the white player, they chose the agitator. So that's straight off the bat. Those two leaders are sort of signaling a sort of aggressive play style for the game. So we're going to be thinking that Warlord is going to be relevant this game. And then the third pick from was it teal? From red, that was myself. I took the rifles. So that was in response to that in some degree, because you want to be competitive for Warlord. So that was why I chose that one. And then the next choice was Keeper's Trust, of all things. So that's sort of signaling straight away that maybe the teal player, which is Richie here, is going to try an opposing play style potentially to sort of defend against that aggression. And then when it came back around, the rebel paired with the signal breakers, sort of allowing them to take less damage, which is important for the small fleets that the rebel has.
Yeah.
Then swinging around to white, from left field, they took the Raider Exosuits, which is notoriously a bad lore card, but it can be clutch. So that sort of makes sense. You can get a cheeky steal here and there. And then
can I jump in and ask? This would be a good time to ask. What is happening in the Raider Exosuit right now? Did he find a dinosaur egg? Is that what happened?
Yeah, maybe he found a relic. We don't know what relics are, right?
That's right. You're right. I did not notice the egg last time I looked at it, but yeah, he's definitely stealing something or finding something, and yeah, it's some sort of spirit dinosaur. I don't know, like or a worm. Yeah, but it is. I don't know why you'd want to steal that.
He does. The Raider does look like they're sort of in some kind of conversation with this thing.
Oh,
Getting directions, maybe. I don't know.
you think the raiders broke
Do you
into
happen to
this?
know where the closest ship is that I can raid?
Yeah, it's like I'm looking to steal something useful, and like I found you. Can you tell me?
Yeah. He's got a very sort of polite, kneeling body.
I think it's the hand on the hips. Is the hand on the
Yeah.
hip is conveying a sense of calm. You know, he's not like got a gun in his hand or he's nervous. He's like, yeah, like this is what I'm supposed to be doing. But yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
we'll
anyway.
flesh the lore out. We'll flesh the Raider X.
Yeah, we gotta flesh
lore
that
out
out.
more. But this was good. This was good. This was good, Mango.
Yeah, and then so the red player, I ended up going for the Elder, knowing that there's going to be a bit of aggression and that I might benefit from that by getting my free influence from the trophy being taken. And then finally, Richie went for the upstart leader as his second choice.
Yeah.
Now, just not looking at the cubes for a moment, things that I would comment on this pool of leaders is the things I noticed. I'm not going to notice everything, but I wanted to get hold of the rifles because if you want Elder and someone shoots you with the rifles, you do not get your free influence because it's not a battle.
Oh, good call. Yes.
So I wanted the rifles so that if I got Elder, that the rifles wouldn't be used against me. Having said that, being Elder in a game where the anarchist is present is a red flag because Elder doesn't do well on Tyrant and anarchist is all about Tyrant. So I think when it came down to the draft, there was a point where I kind of knew that that Richie was going to go for the upstart rather than the anarchist, just from the board setup. So I confidently chose the Elder, but there was a bit of a 50-50. He could have just chosen anarchist, but I kind of knew that you wouldn't because you had initiative, and the only two leaders that were left were the upstart and the anarchist. I was like, he's probably going to go upstart because he's going to get that declaration bonus.
Yes, I kind of did. I did make the rule that I won't take a leader unless that has like a ambition related ability unless I have the initiative. Now also rules are made to be broken, so maybe someday I will break the rule, and that doesn't mean I always pick that one. I just certainly was not feeling anarchist with my board setup and with initiative, like you said. Very true.
Yeah,
that's really.
Sorry.
Well, no, I just wanted to say it's an interesting makeup, and the way you just described it, setting it up from the beginning. Like when I first saw this tableau, I was like, "Oh, this is a really interesting mix of a lot of leaders I haven't played or seen played because they might not be as popular. A lot of lore that has not been played because they're not as popular for a variety of reasons. So let's pick them now." But I wonder, it was very aggressive, but I think I got distracted by the shiny things like Gate Cities and the Anarchist. If Dan had picked Anarchist first, and it was like one less really aggressive leader, do you think you would have been as concerned about it being, or would it have been an as aggressive game?
Yeah, well, this is exactly what I was about to touch on. Is that the order that this unfolds is important. So you've got the first pick signals aggression. If this had gone here, then all of a sudden my want for the Elder disappears, and suddenly I'm thinking I'm picking a different leader. But the fact this has gone down, then it comes across to white. They choose this, and so as it unfolds, you're thinking, okay, aggression. Do I want to join in on that, or do I want to defend against it? And what are my options to defend against that? There really isn't much here except for Keeper's Trust in the way of law. So you think maybe I'll join it. So that's kind of why that pick came about. And then you picked this one. So that was like the more defensive option.
Also, if I may, I definitely thought that this was Keeper's Solidarity and not Keeper's Trust. They are very similar art, in my defense, and I did not read the card, so we'll find
Gotta
that
read
out
that
later
fine
on.
print.
But I thought it
The
was
fine print.
Keeper's Solidarity.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which is totally fair. There's like, and then once you get into campaign, there's like 2 other Keepers cards, I think.
So this is
Really
what I was
throw it
talking about.
off.
I won't spend too much longer on this, but sorry to cut you off, Mango. But yeah, this is what I was talking about before. This situation here, it's my pick, and I've got the choice between Elder, Upstart, Anarchist. So if I pick Elder, I'm looking at it. What is Richie going to pick? So you have to take a bit of a gamble. And I remember when you put that block on there, I was like, yes, yes. So there's a bit of like a mind game with the draft.
No, that's a
Not
good.
that I won the
really
game,
good-
Now,
Well,
Richie has.
at this point, you could still have won. We don't really know who won the game yet.
That's right.
No, that's a great breakdown, Bubs. I love that, and I think that helps me, and hopefully helps the viewer kind of be in that right headspace for the draft, because I don't think that I think as much as I should about the draft. So I love that.
Well, so Richie, not to jump in, but you ask your favorite question after every draft, and I wanted you to ask that but before anyone answers it, I had a lead up to it. Your favorite question being who won the draft?
I know. I was just fooling with you.
Oh, you made a face. I felt.
I fooled you. I fooled. That was part of our jokes, Mango. Part of our funny jokes we have. Who won the draft, Mango? Who won the draft?
Well, before we get to who won it, I would like to say, after Bubs' excellent recap, I feel like the pairing between Rebel, Dan's picking Rebel, and then Signal Breakers, because as you said, he's smaller fleet going in. That'll really help. He gets to add extra dice, so that increases the risk that he's going to roll an intercept. And this gives him a lot of leeway to play with adding extra dice. I can risk it. I can risk 1 failure, things like that on the intercept. And then I think also you're pairing Bubs of Elder and Galactic Rifles, not just to steal it so that people can't use it against you, but the Elder is prickly and that people don't want to beat him up because he's old and beloved. And now you can kind of kick people's butts from far away. So I think it was a really nice pairing too.
I think Dan's, as you said, I think Dan's got the most synergized pairing. And then maybe the Elder and the Rifles make sense, especially because the Elder was starting with a weapons planet. It means you can fire those things off much more regularly. Did Dan start with a weapon? Yeah. So
he started. So yeah, who do we think won the draft?
I vote Dan.
I think Dan, but I think in some way, whoever gets Galactic Rifles wins the draft. Like, Galactic Rifles can kind of define the game, and it kind of did in the first couple chapters. You can almost just have Galactic Rifles and no leader and be happy. So
yeah. The Rifles, I wrote a BGG post about this somewhere, but the Rifles circumvents a lot of abilities. So the Elder wouldn't get a trophy. You wouldn't get to. There's like a whole bunch of other laws and leaders that when you get shot by the Rifles, they don't trigger their ability because it's not a battle. So they're much more powerful than you think.
Yeah, and I know Richie, you really wanted Keeper's Trust very badly. Possibly because you mistook it for another keeper, but that happens. But Galactic Rifles I thought about Upstart very hard because we look at the draft a day in advance, so we have time to think about it. And I really thought about them, but some of us look
at the draft a day in advance. Some of us see it for the first time.
We have the option to look at the draft a day in advance. Not everyone takes that up, and not everyone needs to, apparently, because they do just quite well enough without. But I looked at the Upstart very hard, and I was like, I just got so, to your point that you made, I think, Richie, you just made about, if you have Galactic Rifles, you don't actually need a leader. I was really worried that Upstart, if I had it, would be like a useless leader because the ability is, again, tied to only declaring ambition, and we've seen that go either way. You can do it too much or too little, and anyway, I think that would have been a good pairing for you had you been earlier in the picks, because if you really want an upstart, if it fails, at least you have something.
I think upstart's a really powerful leader.
Yeah, I won't take any questions right now about why I picked Raiders exosuits, but I can take those offline later.
I think you did it for the lols, right?
I did it for the lulls. I'm a troll. I'm a lore troll.
Yeah.
Like if anyone's like, don't pick this card. It's terrible. It's
if you can
C tier. I'll take it.
With if you can swing a win with like a really weird lore card, then it's extra cred for you.
Okay, but the winner of the draft being, I think we said Dan, that does not mean they won the game. So we will get into a breakdown of Chapter 1. I just wanted to point out a real simple tactic for Chapter 1 if you're the upstart and you have the initiative and you have a 6 or a 7 in a 4-player game. And all I did was I had the initiative, like I said. I played a 6 of aggression, and I declared empath. I got a psionic, which I start with a psionic as the upstart. And the upstart's ability, if we haven't said it already, whenever you declare an ambition, you gain one resource, any resource you want.
Provided there's one there in the supply.
Yes, limited to supply limit. And that won me 5 points at the end of Chapter 1. It just was a simple thing that allowed me to. No one really starts with a lot of psionics. I guess the noble could have foiled my plan, but they weren't here. So Silver Tongues does get secured, but that's still only one psionic, and I am the only person with a psionic city for I think Chapter 1. Maybe someone gets it down. But yeah, I wound up winning a pretty easy 5 points. And I think that's and if you see little things like that for your leader in your situation, especially in Chapter 1, I would just encourage you to execute on that, because generally you're able to win a keeper or an empath declare in Chapter 1 with two of the resource. So yeah, just seeing that was something I tried to execute on, and then it wound up paying off. And I think generally that could pay off for you in your early chapters.
That's a great point. And yeah, with the upstart, you get any resource, right? I mean, that's available, but it's not just any planet you own or whatever. It's any resource. And I really like that philosophy for Chapter 1, because often, as also in this game, I didn't score for Chapter 1, and I don't think I scored Chapter 2, but going for an ambition that you're going to fight and kill and die for in Chapter 1 is a lot. But if you can find those easy pickups like that, no sweat off your back, and you're going to pretty be secure in it, and if high chance of success, but if someone takes it over, you didn't really put that much effort into it anyway. I think that's the perfect move.
You can do some really surprise attacks with upstart.
Surprise attacks?
People are like, oh yeah, the upstart can't attack me. They don't have a weapon. But then you seize and you declare and you get a weapon and you just go on the attack, and no one saw it coming. Whereas most of the time you can kind of see it coming when people have weapons.
Oh, here we are at the end of Chapter 1, ready to score. What's going on, Reggie?
Oh yeah, this is how Chapter 1 played out. I wound up getting 5 points for empath. Yellow gets actually no points, because did Yellow get 2 points?
No, we tied.
Yeah. Okay, so I don't know why their cube is here. This is an imposter cube. But they got their 2 points from the Warlord, it looks like. So imposter cube there aside, I like my little setup here. You and I, Bubs, were able to execute, I would say, one of the best little tradesies. I started out with a starport over here, and you started out with a starport over here, and we just swapped them. We said, hey, let's swap them and consolidate forces. and that went pretty well. What do you
By
think about that?
swapping, he means destroying each other's starports, but
Right,
not
so-
raiding, not raiding them. Yours proved to be a lot tougher than mine. It took me like 3-4 actions to destroy yours, which is really annoying. But I did get a free influence out of him destroying my starport because I was the elder.
Nice.
Yes, that's a good point. That kind of greased the wheels a little bit in my favor when I asked for the trade. And you can kind of see, like, I love this little Sector 5 lockdown. I'm pretty happy with this.
Yeah, can you push in just a little bit? Sorry.
Yeah. Any other
If only you
thoughts?
had the gate stations, huh?
If only I had gate stations, I would have had the I would have had literally your ideal city to put right there.
Well, and
Any
this
other
is also when, I think one is that this is when the board starts to take shape, which will play out, I think, in chapters 2 and 3, where Richie, your teal is really consolidating and moving up to the top of the board there, and then Bubbles, the red, does something very interesting with his. He doesn't quite expand there. He starts to send his armada elsewhere, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But I think it's really, you do start to see the board take shape that stays there, and then Dan is yellow and I is white are kind of more nomadic in our home worlds.
Mango, what is happening in the court right now?
I was gonna say that caught my eye again. I'll never learn.
What is happening?
I'll never learn. You can try to teach me how to play that court, and I'm just not gonna listen. Can you zoom in on it to see what card that is?
It's not even. No one cares. It's Guild Struggle. It's steal one guild card.
Zoom out a little bit. Zoom out a little bit. There were some sweet guild cards. I think only one person had guild cards, and it was Bubbles, who was aggressively. Oh, shit. You got me. All right.
It was a fiasco. Let's just say that.
Yeah. Rule for next time is I'm not going to go into the court at all for the entire first chapter. That's my intervention. Is I'm going to stay out of court.
I was stuck in this position where I'm sure a lot of players have been stuck in, where you've got silver tongues, but you can't. No one's securing anything, so it's just sitting there. And then Guild Struggle comes out, so you're like, well, I can't let that. I can't let someone get that because that'll take silver tongues off me, and then they'll use it against. It'll just chain against me because I'm the only one with a guild card. So I had to kind of take them both aggressively.
My god!
Yeah, it was a lot. That
you were very aggressive.
Trying to destroy that starport. It was just all these actions just flying out the door.
To be fair, that was very aggressive of Bubbles, but also. There's 3 things. 1, that was very aggressive. Now I remember. 2, oh my god, I thought that was a different game. I didn't think this was the same game. I totally forgot about the silver tongues and the guild struggle and how aggressive it was. Like, I thought that was like 3 games ago, but no, that was this game. And and 3 is Bubbles is, again, we talk about leaders and their kind of specialty zones, has a court favor specialty, and I'm playing someone who's called the Agitator. What the hell am I doing in the court like that? Oh, totally outgunned. Like, I mean, last time I tried this, I at least had the Noble or something. This is, I have a problem. I'm sorry. That's really.
And the sad part is the engineers will never know how hard I fought for them.
Right.
They'll never know.
These loyal engineers. And I think you keep them for most, if not the whole game. I think they're...
Yeah, I successfully protected them. But they never thanked me.
Huge.
Yeah.
Anyway. So that was chapter 1. We kind of taken shape.
So what happened with the outrage, Richie?
So what happened with the outrage was, in this chapter 2 that we are in, I was able to outrage weapons. I influenced and secured. I lost camera there for a second, but I'm back. Influence and secured outrage spreads, and I was really torn with what I should outrage. Outrage spreads everyone at the table, including you, outrage one type of resource. And I decided to outrage weapons, and you made a good move when the rest of the table collectively sighs and groans, and that's what happened. That's what happened here. Everyone was like, no, not my weapons. And
I know
I think
you
that had a pretty big impact on the rest of the game because I was able to turn off the galactic rifle sprinkler that was spraying all over the board. And the rebel was kind of taken back a couple steps but without weapon access, as was the agitator.
Who relies on defense using weapons. Yeah, it was the perfect outrage, and being the only leader that it's not relying on violence, it's just the perfect choice. When I saw outrage spreads come out, I would have loved to influence it and secure it myself, but I didn't have any aggression cards and I had no relics.
What were you going to outrage?
There was no secures available to me other than, this long-winded copying and influencing. But yeah, Richie just got in there.
Sorry, Bubbles, what would you have outraged? Yeah.
Just not weapons. I don't know what it would be. I don't want to spend
that's
time
what I feel like that card's a punishment. Like 9 times out of 10, I'd never want to outrage anything. But Richie really was the right person to get it. For anyone that could use it that wouldn't really blow up in their own face.
Yeah, and as the elder, you're like, oh, that would be great because there's a rebel and an agitator out there. I don't want all this violence. But with the elder, I do want that because I want the rebel and the agitator attacking each other, attacking the upstart, attacking me, but I get a benefit from being attacked. So I want there to be violence on the board to keep things under control. And without that violence, without that aggression, the upstart just has the advantage.
Yeah. The other thing I'll just say is, before we get into scoring, which Dan did very well in Chapter 2, I also secured the card that lets you put one mass uprising. Choose a cluster, place one ship in each system of that cluster, discard this card. I pretty much got that uncontested and just expanded north into Sector 6 here. And I am loving my position. I mean, I am 7 points behind Dan, and I got most of the hate into the next chapter just because I had a really good setup. This looks kind of intimidating going into Chapter 3. I think is the thing.
Yeah, and I was working hard to keep your cities non-controlled so you couldn't tax them as the upstart. But without the weapons, you made my job a lot harder.
Yes.
And I think too, because Dan, the rebel only starts with 1 star port, and so he was in I think the top middle sector there, but he was just getting out into those places. But now he has by this time he has no ships left on the entire left side of the board, but he has all those cities that are just undefended. I mean, except he has someone in the gate. So yeah, it was really good positioning. That's definitely what I saw. I was like, "Uh-oh, Richie's really an empire is building over there." Speaking of empires, can you zoom into the galactic sprinkler or the rifle sprinkler so we can just talk about that? Give it 30 seconds of attention.
Yeah, I'm just confused why. Oh, Red must have gotten first place in Tyrant.
Scoring,
I got second. Okay, I was just
no, because I'm elder, so I only get second place.
Oh, that's right. That's right. We
Yes.
talked about that. Okay, so we both got 2 points. Okay, sorry. I was like, you have way more captives than I do. Why did we both get second? Yeah. What did you want to talk about here?
Oh, the galactic rifles. Just if you zoom in on the Sector 5, just all the Sector 5, including his rifles. But if you just push in a little bit, this was on. Dan had this. Bubbles had this fleet on the right side.
I'm feeling a little claustrophobic, if I'm honest. But okay.
Okay, you can zoom out.
No, I'll get in there.
But we called this for those of you who tuned in on Monday, and you can watch the replay up online, the whole thing. But we designated this. Someone did coin the term the sprinkler.
Bubs gets credit. Bubs.
All right, Bubs called it the sprinkler, and he's sprinkling on all of that sector, and then he moved it up to the other sector, but using galactic rifles quite effectively to keep Richie's forces either damaged or out of the way. And I don't know, it was just very impressive. I had never seen galactic rifles like get used like that, where you take armada to the gates and just start pew-pewing into the into the planets. And again, all the way on the right side were Bubbles' cities, and he had consolidated into one sector, but this was like his biggest fleet, and he moved it out, leaving that sector in the bottom right pretty undefended, with a little bit of defense, but and enough in the gate to like stop people from just like jumping right in. I don't know, it was a nice move, and it let him go to town with the galactic rifles, which I thought was pretty great. And I'm happy because at least that armada is not coming up by me as I'm like crumbling in the north there. So
yeah, parking in the gate with a big fleet with the rifles gives you 5 possible systems to fire into, rather than anywhere else you would only have 3.
The adjacent ones, yeah, the left and right, yeah.
So it's good like that. I did roll really badly generally with those. I was only getting 1 hit for 4 dice. So ideally you want 6 ships, 6 fresh ships. They can't be damaged. But yeah, it's a good spot to be in. But without the weapons, as I said before, makes it a whole lot less scary.
Okay. End of chapter 2. We'll just say Dan got maximum points. He got 8 plus 5 is 13 points, and second place for Red. And then we tied with, or I got second place in Tyrant, and then Elder scores Tyrant very poorly. And so this is where we're at going into chapter 3. Yellow with 15 points, Red and Teal are tied at 7, and White is at 0. So toss it over to you, Mango. Are you going to screen share and take this away from me?
Yes,
Okay,
I will. I'll take that away from you briefly. Chapter 3, everybody. Yeah, so I think in chapter 3 we really just see a couple quick things I wanted to cover briefly, which is one, Richie's board presence starts to expand on the left, as we see there, and he maintains a good hold, and Dan, who's yellow, is kind of without ships anywhere near his buildings, and Dan and I are both stuck in this upper right area as white and yellow kind of duking it out. And so at this point I move some people in the gate. I'm going to heal them and move them north to go after Dan, but Dan makes a big decision here to either come in and scuttle all my ships or to start to prepare and go after Richie. And I think right now only one ambition is declared, and it's Keeper, and Richie's going to take that over. I'm going to declare Tycoon, and then Richie will actually have both of those under his control. Richie, if you could jump to 150 real quick. So here we jump ahead about just like 15 minutes later, towards the end of the chapter 3, and the declarations have been made. So it's double Keeper and it's Tycoon. And if you look at Richie's board, the teal player, he's cornered the market on relics, and he's also got Tycoon. So right now he's locked down to win at this chapter if he is able to come in first for all of this, and he's doing a great job of getting it. I think Richie, you used your ambition ability with the upstart to get some of that. I think you either taxed or stole some of it, and you secured cartel from the court. And so at this point, I'm up here in the north, trying to raid and go through Dan to get whatever relics he might have in the next round, as he's about to do some taxing. And but ultimately I think for the chapter it'll come up short. But the big important thing is, in terms of where everybody's homes are, they're all on the right except for Richie, who's on the left. And then both Dan and Bubbles are moving their ships to the left to go after Richie to try to take at least one of those from Richie. And I myself declare Tycoon, I think, in the attempt, 2-pronged strategy, and you guys can let me know what you think. One was, okay, if I declare Tycoon, which I declared as the second ambition, at least I can try to get that from Richie, because it was really just the one card that was driving this. The cartel was the primary driver of who's going to win Tycoon. So if I get that, maybe with my Raider exosuits, or at least that draws the heat off me, because Dan had also just done this back and forth where he's like, should I blow up Alex and take him off the board completely? And I was like, if I can get Tycoon declared, at least that gives a target Richie's back away from me that either I can get myself or at least someone else will take care of while I try to get Keeper, because I thought I had a better shot with Keeper because I had the relics, so and closer access to a relic place. But I don't know, thoughts on that as a overall strategy before we move to the end.
But also, you're restricted from stealing relics from Tiger.
Right, at this point, yeah, if I come with relics. Yes, the Keeper's Trust, paying off handsomely.
And hypothetically, if the Rebel was to tax, even though there's no relics, but say there was, if the Rebel was to tax
sorry to interject,
them,
Bubbles, just because I forgot.
The Rebel can't. Yeah, the Rebel can't raid either.
No, he can't. What happened was Dan knew Dan had, where my guys are up north, he had 2 buildings. This is when we had this whole debate about skirmish dice versus raid dice. And I took those relics from Dan because he just taxed them. It was a weird thing where I moved in to go raid Dan, and then Dan, having the relic cities, was like, well, I'm competing for Keeper, I'll tax them knowing Alex will probably steal them. And then I did. But yes, yeah, that's a good point. I couldn't go after Richie at that point for his Keeper stuff.
I know there was one point in the game where you tried to raid him and you couldn't take them.
Yeah, I think this was I either almost did it or walked it back or something. I forget.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was that, and I think this is the point where you say, which will hopefully be leading this episode, but where you do some rough table talk on Dan not to go after Keepers at some point during the game too. It was I think it was earlier in here.
He has if you even sniff a relic, I'm coming for you. Yeah.
That was very good. And this is also where I'm so smug. I'm so smug during this raid right now because I'm so confident that I have Keeper solidarity and that he's not going to be able to get through my Keeper, my material to get to the material cartel. That's what the face of misplaced smugness looks like.
Well, and that's right. That's what happens next. Before the end of the chapter is he steals cartel. Dan comes over, steals cartel from you because I took the relics. He didn't have any resources that you had, and he had used them, so he was ready to steal.
I let it play out because I wasn't sure if there was an opportunity for me to have triggered the discard ability of the material cartel, i.e., steal the material from the elder to just discard the cartel, and there was no Dan was in my system raiding me before I had the chance to discard it, which would have been the good move because that would have made us playing for, that would have tied up the elder and I and shifted things around slightly.
Yeah, and you could have given it 3 keys instead of 2 keys.
Chapter 2 and 3, I was just treading water. You can see my board position hasn't changed much since the last screenshot, at all.
So here we are at the end of chapter 3. Like I said, it was pretty close. It looked like Richie was going to take it all, but as you can see, Dan came in as yellow and took Material Cartel at the last minute. That allowed him to win Tycoon. And then Richie, though, was able to win Keeper with me coming in second, and Tycoon was then Bubbles coming in second. Bubbles and I still at the bottom of the pack, but this puts Dan 2 away from winning the game, which is ridiculously close. And then Richie, because of that great 5 points you got in the first chapter, and then everything after, you're actually really, really close to winning as well. So it's pretty much Dan and Richie's game at this point. And that was
Dan will be going into chapter 4 with the initiative. So you've got the player closest to winning getting first dibs on the declare with a whole bunch of resources at their disposal. So it is I was freaking out at this point. I was very concerned.
Yeah, and also, what are we doing? I think Dan called Richie's resource table or resource storage at one point a charcuterie, but Dan himself has a charcuterie. They're both catering for a party that we are not invited to.
We're not invited.
My resources have never been so full. I still have 3 cities at this point. So it's it's not looking so hot for us up there in the northern quadrants.
Yeah. We're like the hedge fund managers missing out on the big trades.
You know,
Oh
just
yeah,
left out of the party.
As far as synergies go, that you could kind of tell, like the fact that Rebel, we took away the weapons from Rebel, but we should never let loyal empaths get material cartel, and I think we also let. That's how he got all that stuff on his board, and just the amount of power that
interest.
a loyal empath
Yeah.
with a full board of resources with initiative going into chapter 4. That's just very scary, very scary.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you know why I couldn't do any of that? Because I didn't have weapons. If I had weapons, so there is a trade-off. Although we did say it was the perfect outrage, it does sometimes mean that other players can't police other players as easily.
Well, and also everyone has their own play style. I mean, Rebel or not, and I know Dan's not here, and this is not a criticism of him, but Dan is, at least from the few games I've played with him, is very psionic capable. So I think just loyal empaths in Dan's hands is really bad, and probably second order Bubbles' hands. But like, definitely, I will keep loyal empaths out of Dan's hands.
Definitely well versed in psionics.
He is well versed.
He speaks psionic.
He does. He is a psionic. He's one of the people of the order.
Yeah.
Cool.
But that is a very good point. Good observation. Richie.
All right, we are back in chapter 4 now, and we are about to see the second worst roll of the game, performed by myself. And what happens here is, we'll let this play out. But what is happening is, I play a card, and I'm excited. I'm going to defend myself here. I'm going to take some ships and go attack Red, who has been taking their galactic rifles at me the whole game.
Yeah, and I'm clearly lining up to raid you with that huge fleet.
Yeah.
Yes. So I'm trying to get as many ships as I can together, because in arcs, the attacker has the advantage almost always. And so I bring in I have 3 ships. In hindsight, I probably shouldn't have used psionic, because those are winning me points right now. So I don't want to spend my psionics. And I roll my aggression die. I'm just going to say mutually assured destruction. Everybody dies. But then I look at Bubs' board, and I see a Galactic Bards there for 1 key. And I get greedy is what happens. I get greedy. And so I'm like, you know what I could do? I could roll raid dice right now. So terrible. So terrible.
I keep very quiet.
Yeah.
This whole time. The importance of
Normally I got so much to say, but when someone's like, I'm like, no.
Let your enemy make the mistake. Were you like so happy when I decided to roll raid dice?
I was just like, I just like, don't say anything. Don't say anything.
That's so funny.
Because there's a chance you won't roll any intercepts, and I'll be happy for you. But if you do roll one, I'll be also happy.
And so I get excited. I'm like, forget how the game works and just roll my 4 raid dice, and ultimately roll 1 intercept. But I'm like, oh sweet, 2 keys. Let's go. And then all of my ships die. I forget that you have to have ships to be able to steal stuff.
I forgot about this. You can see the hands going up top. You're like, I'm going to grab that bar.
So embarrassing. So that was an embarrassing raid attempt by me, followed by
just while talking about the raid, Galactic Bard, if you really wanted it, is 1 key, right? So you could have mixed the dice. And maybe, and the raid dice are the most dangerous dice, right? So if you rolled less of them, maybe you would have still had a ship at the end. Maybe not. I don't know. But
that's a good point. It would have lessened the. I mean, I only rolled 1 intercept, so.
But did he have flames or? It was all intercept damage. Oh yeah, that's right. He had that many ships. Yeah. Right. Yeah. That's rough.
There was a couple flames, but still, I would have had a living ship as long as I didn't have.
Yeah.
And then Is this the forbidden roll? I don't think so. I think it's next.
Yeah, what made that even worse was killing the city got me an influence on the Sworn Guardians and also like helped me get further towards Keeper. So at this point, I was like, man, I've got a good shot here because if I can roll 4 keys with 6 raid die,
Yeah.
I can take Keeper and Empath, and I've got all my cities out, so that'll be enough to maybe win the game. So I'm getting pretty excited at this point.
As you should. But it was not to be,
Not to be.
because this was the result
That was my roll.
of your raid. Was 6
That was
die,
my roll.
3. Are they all? Yeah, they're all the same. 6 self damage, 5 building damage, and 1 key. So you did get a psionic.
Oh, that was I hate having to see it again.
I'm sorry. You had to see it. It's off the screen now. It's off the screen.
There were some bad rolls this game, not just by you, but I think we all had some pretty bad rolls.
So
Yeah.
that was kind of the role that defined the game, because if you would have stolen, let's see, we were tied right now for relics, and I think we remain tied for relics toward the to the end. All right, this is how chapter 4 winds up.
Who won?
The upstart won. The upstart.
Yay! Congratulations!
No way.
I believe I was called a rapscallion in the chat.
He was a rapscallion. That's right, an upstart rapscallion.
I had to look up what that word meant. That was too many syllables for me.
How did how did it feel? How did it feel to win?
It felt like sometimes you win and you kind of like win from first place, and sometimes you win because of second place. Sometimes you win because of a bad dice roll from somebody else. So I think there's different feelings, right? Like I think Bubs deserves to get like at least 2 keys in that roll that he got. And so I felt kind of like, okay, I glad I won, but also kind of got lucky more than just skill, I guess, which is not, I'm not trying to complain. That's how honestly how I felt.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then when did you kind of think you were going to win, or was it really just like the last second when it just became clear?
Well, let me not answer that question and instead answer a different question. Bubs, would you have won the game if you got 2 keys? Is that for sure? Okay.
No.
Walk us through that, because you probably have that mapped out better than I did.
I think 2 keys would have got me 1 relic, so I would have won. I would have gotten 20 points, and I believe, I don't know what I was on.
Well, you got 7 with me, or did you get 9?
Yeah. So I would have been up around, from memory, around 29 victory points. So I would have crossed the 27 point threshold, but you would have still creeped ahead with like second place keeper, and you probably would have still won empath, because 2 keys would have only got me a relic, not your 2 psionics. So you would have got 9 plus 7, another 16. So I believe, I might be wrong.
Well, the agitator has 2 relics as well, so I would have tied and not gotten any points.
Right. So, but you would have still gotten empath 9 points, and you were up. You're already at 24. So you would have gotten up around 32 or something.
But why would I have won empath? I'm confused.
Well, because with 2 keys, I would have only been able to steal your relic.
Oh, you did take.
And you would have kept 2 psionics, which would have won you.
Yes.
So I needed to win both. Therefore, I needed to roll 4 keys.
Okay.
Which would have been 2 psionics and 1 relic.
Then I feel more vindicated from not having.
Yeah, I think it was
like
an
you're
it was a
terrible
really
luck.
Too far
strong.
behind. I had more points really leading up, and I made a lot of mistakes throughout the game. So, yeah, if I'd had a few more points early, maybe I could have. Yeah, 2 keys might have been enough, but it just wasn't to be.
Yeah, the only other close, because Dan wasn't really competing in keeper, and the only other close person was me. But my points are so far behind it. Wouldn't have mattered if that
Yeah.
changed. And then, and you were ahead. Yeah, I think that was an earnest win. It is weird. I think our episode was called "Can You Win in Second Place?" and the answer is yes. And it's really interesting and neat to see. I think more than anything, and it's kind of mathy and feels a little bit like tying, but it's also not. I mean, because you had so many other points besides those points. If you and Bubbles were like the last two, and you were like 1 ahead or 2 ahead, then maybe. But you beat out Bubbles a while back. It was really you beating out Dan that won it.
Yeah. Besides the Harikari you committed in Cluster 6, I think you played a really clean game with consistent good moves, which were contrary to the 3 more violent houses you were against. So I think you deserved it.
Thank you.
Whereas I had a shot at the end, but other than that, I think I sort of got into these weird sort of action loops that weren't very optimized. Whereas I think you were consistently, solid plays.
Yeah, and you weren't like stretching out. I mean, you were growing, but you weren't stretching out like I was. I too feel I was a whirligig, and then I think Dan was just reacting to whatever Bubbles and I were doing while we were spitting out, and he was just trying to take advantage. And I think we confused him. And then by the time he realized he should be going for you, Richie, it was too late.
I will say, I think if I had to play like a devil's advocate as to why people would maybe don't like the game of arcs, is like you feel like you build up, especially you don't always feel like this, but in this game specifically, I felt like I built such a good little kingdom, and then in 4, 5, and 6, and then you can kind of see the ashes of that kingdom is just. Like I have 3 ships on the board and 2 cities, and everything's kind of in wreckage. And so I think you have to be okay with people coming in and breaking your stuff. Does that make sense?
I think it makes.
It reminds
100%.
me. It reminds me a little bit of. I don't know if you played Tigris and Euphrates, but everything just the board just constantly looks completely different. Turn to turn, things just explode and disappear. Yeah, and it's just the shifting sands.
It is very sand shifting. That's a good way to put it. Like I often think, because it's another space combat game, but like Twilight Imperium, and to what we're seeing here, the board will change, but it's much more gradual. And it's like there'll be one major move that might knock out a fleet or something, but it's like in one section and hex to hex. It's not usually like everything's turned on its head and people are on, like, people whose home bases were on the left are now having home bases on the right, while other people have moved in. Like that relic sector was on the right there where Dan was one of my home start places, and he took it over in like the first chapter, I think, even, and it was just, but I survived, and but I think you're right, Rich. You have to be okay. I mean, when I teach people, I'm always like, you don't necessarily, it's not a conflict game. You don't want to go around just blowing up everyone to blow them up. And I think that's true, but also you have to be okay with being blown up when the points, are being sought, because that's what's going to happen.
But I think that's what's so beautiful about this game. If you like that kind of puzzle, is you're presented with a new puzzle every round, every turn, because that board state is always shifting. So it's not like everyone sort of gets jammed up and you're making these little micro improvements. It's like, oh, now I've got to deal with this. Now I've got to deal with that. So you kind of got to be like a sucker for punishment in a sense. You're like, okay, how am I going to get around this new set of circumstances? It's always new. That's what makes every game so unique.
Agreed. But yeah, I mean, a couple other things of note. We had every single city was out or in trophies, so everyone had their city bonus. We all tied. We had a 4-way tie with Empath, so we all got 2 points. I've never seen that before.
That was wild.
Yeah, no first place.
And yeah, we got an upstart win, so that's in the books.
I think Keeper was declared 3 out of 4, if not almost all the chapters.
With Keeper's Trust, you have to. You know what I'm saying?
That's yeah. All right, now that it's all said and done and we've relived it. Keeper's Trust out of 10. What is it? No, thumbs down. Doesn't even get a number. No.
It's a C.
C, yeah.
It's a C. But I think that was our breakdown of the game. All right, this has been Season 1, Episode 7 of our 7-game series that we have played, and I have just received word that we have been picked up for another season.
Oh my god, no way.
Yes, way.
Nice one,
Hey,
fellas.
honey, did you hear it? Yeah, it's another season. No, I don't know.
We're blowing up.
We're blowing up.
Season,
No, we're still not getting paid. No, but it's another season. Okay, great. All right.
Season 2 of Blight and Banter will be coming to you on Monday. We're going to have some fun changes. Look forward to those. Every season, we're going to try to tweak one or two things, probably just one thing. And we won't tell you what that is yet. So tune in on Monday for a little bit of a tweak to the rule set. And if I'll toss it back over to Mango, do you have anything else to take us out?
No, that's awesome, Richie. Great news. And thanks. Yeah, we'll see everyone Monday, and have a great rest of your night. And it's been fun. This has been a great 7 episodes so far. We have a blast. We love this game. We love playing. Dan, sorry you couldn't be here tonight, but he'll be back on Monday. And may your weapons never be outraged. Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye, world.
Let's
take a look at chapter 1.
All right. Wait. You got to do the 5, 4, 3.
I can't do it. Okay.
I don't know. I was deleted. What do you mean? Okay.
That was not deleted.
All right. Yes, and remember, yes.
What is this meant to be? What, like a closing?
I don't know. What is this meant to be? I thought I was just getting excited.
I'm going to just bring it in a very monotone.
We have a blast. We love this game. We love playing. Dan, sorry you couldn't be here tonight, but he'll be back on Monday.
Did he say he was sorry? I think he just said he wasn't going to be here. Let's see if he actually said.
Let's pull up his chat and actually read it.
Mango, you're going to do another headstone graphic for Dan?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we need the headstone. Okay. All right. Hold on. Thank you, Richie, for throwing that over. I think it's important we take a moment of silence right now. No, that's actually, there's a lot going on in the world. That's a little too dark. All right. Richie, thanks for that. Thanks for that wonderful outro. I think it's just important. We'll take a pause for our friend Dan, just to remember him, who could not be here tonight. Dan, wherever you are, we miss you and hope you're well. Get better soon, and we'll see you on Monday.
And may your
just kidding, guys. He's fine. He's fine, guys. He's coming Monday.
Okay.
What were you saying, Bubble?
All right. I said, may his weapons never be outraged.
That's a great way to end it. May your weapons never be outraged.